You see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. Then I told them the hand of my God which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. You know, Nehemiah, he says, look, you see the distress, you see the problems. He's talking to the people that have been living there already. You see the problem. Let us rise up and build. But they know that they should do the work. But you know what convinces the people? What it is that ultimately motivates the people to go, yes, in verse 18, that we will rise up and build. You know what it was? In verse 18, this is the key. It says here, let me show you the text again. Look there in verse 18. I told them of the hand of God, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. What did Nehemiah do? Yes, he tells them, we got to rise up and build. But what was it that convicted them, that brought them together and unified them for this great work? He shared with them how God had been leading them. He shared with them the visions of how God had blessed him. He shared with them how God had touched the heart of the king and the situation that he was in. And he looked and showed them, look at all the timber, look at the letters that I've got, look at how God has prospered us to this point. He gave a testimony of how God had been leading and guiding them. You know, friends, even though he surveyed the land and the city and there was so much work to be done, he didn't look at the present. He looked at the past and showed them how God had been guiding every step of the way. You know, friends, it's really important to make sure that you see very clearly how God guides. You know, sometimes we want to do different things, even for the church, because I feel impressed. But we got to be careful that we don't just plunge headlong into it just because I have a burden for it. It might be my own personal desire. It might be just what I want, and it's not what God wants. But Nehemiah had such confidence because of what happened in the earlier part of chapter 2. How the king, his heart was touched. And how the king opened the doors for him to go back. And how the king even allowed him to have unlimited resources of timber. How the king wrote the letters. He had confidence that God had been guiding and was with him. This is where, my dear friends, personal testimonies become so important. Personal experience with God becomes so important.